Welcome my friends, Seven Gray here. I'm with Guisepi and his T-Bus today. We're making a run into Quartzsite to get some veggie oil from some of the small food vendors in there. So I asked Guisepi to give me a 101 tutorial about running a diesel vehicle on waste vegetable oil, because that's what I want to do with my step van.
My name is Guisepi. This is Edna Lou, the free T-Bus. In the last 10 years, 95% of the fuel that I've used in this vehicle has been made from vegetable oil. So either biodiesel or waste vegetable oil. And today we're gonna go into Quartzsite to pick up. I've talked to all the small food vendors there, and they're more than happy for me to pick up their grease. And today's their last day. And so we're gonna go through the collection process. We're gonna drive there on vegetable oil, so we're gonna kind of look at the process of what it's like to drive on vegetable oil as well. Right now I'm preheating the engine. I have a hydronic heater called the Webasto. The exhaust is right here. I run this on a blend of biodiesel, B20 to B50, so 20% to 50% biodiesel. And that just preheats the whole engine so that I can switch to vegetable oil sooner, because otherwise you have to wait for the engine to get up to operating temperature. So we'll start her up, and we'll still have to wait a couple minutes before she gets up to full operating temperature, and then we can switch to vegetable oil. So right now I've got my hydronic heater on, and then I have a circulator pump which circulates the coolant through my vegetable oil system as well. I'm looking at my coolant temperature. I've had the Webasto on just for maybe 20-25 minutes, and the engine's almost up to 130 degrees, maybe it's 125 degrees. So we just have to warm it up to 190 degrees, and then we can switch to vegetable oil. So I'm just gonna flip off the hydronic heater and the circulator pump and wait for the glow plugs to run. I have a high idle switch here that I wired in, so I can flip it, push on the gas pedal, and it kicks it into high idle, which is good for warming up the engine a little quicker. It does use a little more fuel, but it does heat it up a little quicker. It's also good for high amperage draws on the alternator or faster charging or whatever. So I just kicked it into high idle. We're watching the coolant. It's gonna go up. I had a traumatic experience, which was I blew my injection pump while running vegetable oil. And this injection pump on this 7.3 and 6.9 liter Fords is notorious for it's called thermal shock, which is when you switch to vegetable oil, and that hot vegetable oil in a cool injection pump can destroy it. So I had that happen to me early on, and I have this trauma from it, and so I tend to not switch to vegetable oil while I'm driving, though most people do. And I do carry an extra injection pump just in case. But it's been years since that happened, and we'll probably just drive down to the end of the little road here, and we'll probably be heated up by then, and then we'll switch to vegetable oil at the stop sign. And sometimes I'll flip on, I have an inline 12-volt heater called a Veggie. Sometimes I'll switch that on early on just to preheat the injection pump, get it a little warmer. It's heating whatever fuel is coming from my stock fuel tank, which is usually biodiesel, sometimes a little diesel. And it's just getting my injection pump a little warmer to reduce the chance of thermal shock. So we're here on the on-ramp. The engine's warmed up, the injection pump is pretty warm, so I'm just gonna switch to vegetable oil. And the beautiful thing is that you won't even notice a difference in the way the engine runs. I just flipped it on, and I'm gonna wait a few minutes, because diesel is also return fuel to the tank, so I've got a return line switch too, and I'm just gonna wait just so I'm not wasting as much diesel, because otherwise it'll start pumping diesel back into the vegetable oil tank. So I find that I just kind of wait till I start seeing my temperatures rise of my fuel, which is this gauge. Tapping it helps keep up to date. And then I'll switch the return line, and then pretty quick I'll just start driving. So we're starting to see the temperatures rise a little bit there, so I'll switch my return line. And I'll just kind of run for a sec. Make sure we're getting that fuel, that veggie in the injection pump, and then I'll start driving here in about 20 seconds. And now you just start, once the fuel is up to about 130 degrees, then I'll start driving, and it'll jump up to 160, 170 pretty quickly. All right, we're cruising. And we're driving on Veggie. So we've been cruising down the highway here for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. I had my 12-volt heater on to just boost those temps up. I see my injection pump is over 160 degrees, so I'm going to switch off the electric heater, and now we're pretty well boosted, and the coolant should be able to just keep the vegetable oil plenty while we're driving now. So we're cruising. The fuel is over, it's about 180 degrees right now, and it should hover in the 165 to 175 degree range until we get there. So one of my favorite parts about running vegetable oil is that when you come to a stop sign, it doesn't smell like nasty diesel. It smells a little sweet, and it's kind of, depends on what kind of vegetable oil you have, but it might smell like French fries or tempura or something like that, but it smells good. I mean, at least relative to diesel exhaust. Okay, so we're almost at arrival. I've got my navigation that shows me we're 1.1 miles away. My system, there we go, 1 mile. I'm switching off the send switch. So now switching back over to diesel. And right now we're purging is what it's called, where we're basically reintroducing whatever's in the stock fuel tank, diesel, biodiesel, whatever's in the stock fuel tank, and redistributing that through the injection system, so that when we shut off, there's no vegetable oil left in there, and that just kind of clears it out and makes sure that you can start easily again. So we've pretty much arrived. We're looking for a parking spot. We've driven our mile to purge, so I'm just going to flip off the return line, and now it's returning back to the diesel tank, and it's just running like a regular vehicle would on a biodiesel blend with fuel coming in and out of the stock fuel tank.
We've arrived at the flea market, and we're going to go inside. Last week we were all here, and Giuseppe went through and he talked to several of the food vendors about taking away their waste vegetable oil. So they deep fry stuff, cook stuff. They've got all this veggie oil from a week or two of being here that needs to be hauled away. So Giuseppe talked to them about getting this from them so they don't have to haul it away. So it's a win-win situation.
Sounds great. Yep, we're gonna go pick it up in this radio flyer wagon.
We made one trip unloading the veggie oil, and now we're just wandering around doing some shopping, looking for some antique tools, anything that I can use for my step van build, and then we're going to be coming back later this afternoon to pick up some more veggie oil.
So we just finished up for the day. We collected maybe 30, 35, 40 gallons of vegetable oil. It's all really nice looking, pretty clear stuff. It's not going to take a lot of processing. And now I'm just warming up the bus, and we're going to switch to vegetable oil so that we can cruise back to where we're camping tonight.
I'm editing this video right now, and I realize there's a whole separate part where I have Giuseppe processing the oil, preparing it, putting it inside of his vehicle. I've decided to break that out as a separate episode. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Savor the moment. See you next episode.